So, middle of August, Bryton and I are here at what we call the meadow, and we're making a ground blind right here. We have most of the sticks cleaned out. We have a little more work to do, but it won't take long to get that. We're going to leave a lot of this stuff behind us in relation to our target area, and leaving this stuff behind you helps to break up your outline as long as you don't contrast too bad against the background. And the reason we chose this location is based on the trail camera that we had here last year. We now know that the elk, they primarily approach from either the left or the right. And as far as I can tell, they don't come from behind us. I have had a few that have approached from the far side of this meadow, but if they approach from that side, we should still have the wind and they will very likely come within range. The far tree out there, which is kind of the farthest you can see, is 73 yards. So that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but as long as they don't stay way over there and skirt around and leave, they should come into 60 and under. Or if they approach these trees right in front of us, this big tree is 18 yards. So that's a good kind of Brett Pitcher style shot there. I'd much prefer a 20-yard shot over a 50-yard shot if I can help it. But I also like these big trees right here in the middle because it gives the elk something to walk behind and gives you a chance to draw your bow while you're waiting for that shot. So here's another reason we like to come out and do this in the summertime. Right here and here, these are huckleberries. And they are delicious. And they grow in the summertime up in these mountains very abundantly. So they're a pleasant snack. This is a very common place for these elk to show up. So it's been a little while since I've been here, and if I just take a quick look along the edge here, I see quite a few different tracks. Tells me that things are in here, things are happening. Right over here in front of us is kind of the main portion of the wallow, as I would call it. The reality is it actually, the creek flows right through here. So something could roll around in this mud pit, and in a short amount of time it would look crystal clear just like this, because the creek comes from that direction and flows right out through there and down over the edge. Archery 2025 underway. It's the day before the season. We're backpacking into our desired location so that we can be better positioned for some action tomorrow morning. All we needed was just a few hours in this evening to get up, push camp into the woods quite a ways. Number one, it gives a big advantage over the average elk hunter. Number two, makes my opening morning of elk season a lot more enjoyable because I don't have to sweat and hike and try and be quiet. I don't have to have the anxiety of wondering if somebody's going to be parked in my spot when I get to the trailhead. I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I just wake up, I'm there. I don't have to get up at 3 a.m. to get there. Just wake up like half hour before shooting light. 45 minutes if I can't sleep. That's never the case. Huge advantages to backpacking in bivvy style and setting up near where you plan to hunt. Not necessarily where you plan to hunt. I've camped too close before. And I'll be honest with you, where I'm camped right now might be too close, but it hasn't proved to be the case yet. So, until it becomes a problem, the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. But if some other hunter were to show up, they would probably tell me I'm camped too close to where I'm hunting. We're sitting here at the wallow. Well, I'm sitting here at the wallow. I'm just getting ready to make some breakfast. As soon as I turn on the stove, I hear this clump, stomp, thump, and I think, oh no. Because it was the first time since I've got here that I've made any noise. But it was Bryton, and he came to tell me a story.
So I was getting ready to make hot chocolate so I didn't fall asleep. And I heard some squirrels, like, yammering about something, but they were just dropping pine cones. And I started pulling out my stove, and then I hear... And I look up over the log, and there's 2 calves, 2 cows, and a spike. And they're all just... And I range a cow at 40. I'm like, okay, if that spike comes out right there, I'm gonna get it. And then all 5 of them just run right up to 20 yards and just look at me. But I had my bow already pulled back. I didn't know he was at 20 yards, so I cut the arrow loose with my 30 pin.
Right there?
And it just splashes blood all over the tree, and he runs off, and he goes over to the stream. And then a cow called to see if I can get him to come back. And then I watched him limp off.
So did you go look or anything?
No, I set my bow down and ran all the way over here.
Oh, so that like just happened?
Just happened.
Okay.
Didn't get it on video, because if I turned on the camera, they'd run off.
Wow. No, that's fair.
No, I was sitting there in complete silence all morning. And I started to drift off, and then I was like, I gotta make some hot chocolate.
Well, good job. That's exciting. Usually, when they cross a log like this, here, I'm able to see it. And I can see a lot of it right here. Bryton.
Yeah.
Here's blood. So, good blood there. A lot of blood all over that log. There's quite a bit of blood in there, Bryton. Oh, yeah, look. All over that, you're just walking the wrong direction. Walking too fast. Pull out your binoculars and make sure he's dead.
He's not breathing. Oh my God. Let me go first, just in case.
Yeah, have that arrow ready. is. Bryton got him a spike. Congrats, buddy. You did good.
I didn't think the funnel shot was that good.
You got him.
Those nubs.
He's got big bases. Oh, yeah, there's the arrow. I kept looking for your arrow too.
It's stuck in him.
Well, we'll trim it out in a little bit.
You got one, Dad.
Congratulations, Bryton.
Opening morning, too.
Opening morning.
Yeah, I got him good. My arrow didn't even break.
Kind of a surprise, huh?
But there's blood all over this.
Oh, yeah, he was bleeding good. Okay.
How far do you think he went?
Probably went 150 yards. This was a proud dad moment. Congratulations, Bryton, on your first archery elk. Okay, well, we took some pictures. Now it's time to get to work. Bryton's got his tag punched. I think we're going to use this tree right here as our meat pole because it's kind of convenient and it's right there. Meat antlers hanging there on the log. Bryton's drinking a celebratory monster. And we're going to go get cleaned up and find a more suitable location in the creek to transport those quarters to. It's still cool right now, but it's going to get hot. What you ought to do is sit on that carcass with a bow, double up on a bear.
It's not a bad idea. You know what? I think I just might do that.
In the early afternoon, we were packing out Bryton's elk when a mature bull visited the wallow I was sitting at earlier in the morning. These are the pictures of that event. Sometimes that's just the way hunting goes. I'm glad that the first elk showed up at the wallow Bryton was sitting at. He put his skills to the test and was able to harvest a bull without me there barking orders at him in the heat of the moment. If you have any questions about this hunt or our elk hunting strategies in general that produce consistent success, please leave a comment or send me an email. Thanks for following along and sharing this adventure with us. See you next time.